YouTube, what is going on? PPS here. We got another guest with us today, rolling with myself and Monotone, Mr. AlphaDogBets. How you doing, my man?
I am doing great. Excited to dive into some props with you guys. Big fan of the show, so thank you guys for letting me come on and join you.
Hell yeah. Monotone, how was your week?
We're still recovering from the Wednesday show, the NBA show. Didn't go too well for me. I don't know about you, but hopefully you carried up your end of the deal because I didn't do so well. But yeah, I'm ready for football. I hit a Thursday night bet. I normally never put out Thursday night stuff, so we're starting the week in the green. It feels good.
Yeah, no, Wednesday was okay. I had Vucevic rebounds. He hit, and then stupid Jayshawn Tate, dude, he had 5 fouls in like 18 minutes. That was impressive how fast he almost fouled out of that game. But yeah, Alpha, I saw you did really well in football last week. What was your record? How would everything go?
I went 6-2 overall, had all 1.5 unit plays, so it was a good Sunday for me. I did a couple props in the Sunday night game, went 1-1, so trying to be more like you guys, get into the prop game a little bit, so you're going to have to teach me a little bit of your ways today.
Hell yeah, hopefully we can shed some light on some props. Monotone, how was your week? I know we didn't get to do this last week because the props were super late.
Yeah, I started at 1-2 on the main slate, but the biggest one hit. But then we brought it back with a nice Gabriel Davis day. I was tweeting about him all day, and he cashed all his props in that disgusting game where nobody threw the ball. So we got his touchdown, and we got his receiving yards, longest reception, all that. So it was a pretty good week last week, but small. I'm ready to up the stakes again this week. I have another huge one.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset that we didn't have the show because last week was my best week.
Really?
It was my best week of the year by a lot. I mean, the only thing that I was 9-1, the only one I lost was stupid Keenan Allen, who he must have got COVID mid-game because he's out with COVID now. So he must have got hurt or sick in the middle of the game and just decided to stop playing after like the second drive.
Yeah, man, he fucking killed my fantasy team, but that's not your problem. It's okay.
Mike, how we doing? We got Sean in the chat. Mr. Ben here as always. Oh, yeah, Nick Chubb. I want to get Nick Chubb on the show. Honestly, I should get him on the show. He made me enough money this year. I'd probably pay his ass to get on the show with how much money he's made me. But, yeah, let's total record on the show for myself and Mr. Monotone, 37-21. Alpha looking to take down, I think PSG Prop Guy is our only other guest we've had for NFL, so we'll see. I think he went 1-1 on his day. So if you get that sweep, you're taking the top prize as the top one there.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah. Let's start you off. We'll have you go first here with your first play.
Yeah, so we have Godwin over 73.5 receiving yards, guys. To me, this is going to be the highest scoring game of the day. You can kind of see that with the total bouncing around 53, 54. And the Bills give up the deep ball. This one I think is going to be an absolute shootout. We're going to see a ton of offense on both sides. So I think Godwin's going to eclipse this easy. He's coming off an absolutely monster game last week. So as long as he keeps his momentum, he should get us there.
Yeah, I mean, this is the game of the week, right? This is the game of the week. We can all agree. The shootout.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
This one's going to be the one we're all tuning into. And I mean, Godwin's been killing it this year. I mean, the guy is clearly the number one on that team. I mean, Brady threw it to him, 10+ times in the first half last week? I believe he had over 10 targets in the first half. So
he's been an absolute monster as well. I think he had, close to 16 catches on the game. He's just been absolutely unbelievable. Let me see, I have it right here. He had 17 targets, guys, 15 receptions for 145 yards. No Antonio Brown means extra targets going Godwin's way. I anticipate we see the exact same thing. And we have a higher total in this one, too. So we're expecting even more points.
Yeah, I love Chris Godwin. I had him. I doubled up on him last week on receptions and yards. I think he ended up cashing the receptions prop on the second drive. By the third drive, he hit the yards mark. I always talk about it on the show as yards after the catch, and Godwin is a freaking monster on doing that. Coming across on those just short crossing routes, the dude just finds his way past the backer. He is so hard to cover one-on-one, and I think this is a great spot. Bills obviously can't stop the run as we've seen last week. So I can't imagine they're able to stop the pass here either.
And they're also missing Tre'Davious White. He's out for the year, the best corner of the Bills. So they're a little short in the secondary. I think this is going to be one we can get pretty early in the game.
Yep. White's a big one right there. That guy's a beast on the outside, but when you take him out the equation, it's really not looking as strong back there. The Bills, you got to realize this. When you look at the Bills numbers on paper, a lot of that's inflated by strength of schedule, right? So a lot of, even according to the metrics, earlier this year, they were rated a better run defense than the Bucs. But we all know that's not true. They just played the Dolphins twice a year, the Jets twice a year, and even now the Patriots are doing a little bit better. But a lot of these defensive metrics that might scare people away are kind of built on playing the Jets. So, yeah, I have no problems with this one. This one's looking great.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mike. I know he popped that in there that Tre'Davious is out. We got a couple Alpha fans in here.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go.
Sweet boy.
Well, thank you so much.
Jonathan Taylor has paid my rent. He's a Badger, so I love to hear that.
Dude, Jonathan Taylor has been unfreaking real this year. Is there any running back more fun to watch right now? That offensive line is just clicking on all cylinders, and he just finds every single hole, and you can't get him down with one guy. So he's just been a blast to bet on and to watch this year.
It brings me back to the glory Badger days with him, Gordon, and James White all on the same team. And he was the running back. I think he was the running back. He was like a freshman when Melvin Gordon was like the backup to James White still. So
right.
it was just unbelievable watching all those guys together. But yeah, we'll bring it right on over to you, Monotone, for your first play of the day here.
Yep. So this number actually just got lower right as I was going to enter it in at 66.5 rushing yards. So just for some context before we go into it a little bit more, what I was actually looking for, and I still think it probably will be my biggest play in this game, is carries for Alvin Kamara rather than just rushing yards. But since the sportsbooks kind of know that carries is a more exploitable prop, it's one that they don't post normally until Saturdays or Sundays. So unfortunately, we're going to have to be sitting by our phones waiting for that one deep into the weekend. But before we, have to wait for that, I still think this is a great number we're getting right here for Alvin Kamara. I mean, we all kind of know Kamara is one of the best running backs in the league already. And now we get a pretty good matchup against the Jets, which, I mean, actually more than pretty good. It might be an elite matchup. The Jets give up the fourth most rushing yards per game, the fourth most rushing attempts per game, and they've really looked pathetic recently. Those numbers are kind of considering the early in the season success that they did have stopping the run, but it's really been a mess ever since then. Additionally, we all saw what Taysom Hill did at quarterback last week, and I can tell you guys it was not good. The guy threw 4 interceptions in a game that was relatively close for the most part. They're going to really do their best to game plan Taysom Hill out of this game in terms of throwing the ball. They're going to want him to run the ball. And I think we're going to see a combined 30 carries from Kamara and Taysom Hill in this game. I think we could legitimately see Taysom Hill throw the ball less than 15 times. No Mark Ingram. Tony Jones Jr. is terrible. I'm not sure if he's active or not. I don't think that really matters. So yeah, I think we're really going to see the predominant workload that we've kind of expected all season. And we even saw in the beginning of the year from Kamara. So no Simeon. It's just going to be the Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara show. And I'm excited to capitalize off it this week.
Yeah, I'm happy. Finally have him back in fantasy this week. We're getting back to the playoffs here. One thing I want to talk about fantasy is how am I getting into the fantasy playoffs in week 14? I have Jonathan Taylor on bye. My team is absolutely screwed. That's a whole different story. But I love Kamara here. Even if they do try to stack the box here against him, it doesn't really matter. All you have to do is flip a screen out to him, and the dude's going to get you 30 yards, and they have to worry about that. So you can't really stack the box. That's what makes Kamara so good. I'm very excited for this one. I think you guys have a great play on this one for sure.
Yep. Even going a little bit more too, in the 4 games that they played together last season, there was an average of 22.5 running back carries for the Saints. It was split between Kamara and Latavius Murray. It was split between Kamara and Mark Ingram. But now in this game, there's none of those guys are still here. So it's really going to be Kamara. If we were expecting 22.5 rush attempts like we saw in those 4 games combined, then we can see Kamara getting about 18 of those.
And even so, if you do the math on that one for his yards per carry, if he's getting to 18 to 22 carries, your prop's going to hit very, very easily. There's no way he's going to have under a 4 yards per carry mark in this one. Love that play. I have more to come on Kamara later today, a little sneak peek. So I definitely love the angle you have on Kamara.
Love it. We got some love there on Godwin there.
Awesome.
Good value. Question here for you guys both, obviously being, kind of both on Kamara. I'm not going to bring it all up here.
Yeah, not yet.
What do you guys think? You thinking the completion's under, or what are you thinking? I think it's like 18.5 or something like that.
Yeah, I lean the under completions. I think there's better angles to get in this game. I think we see a lot of dink and dunks in this one with that Jets defense. Monotone alluded to it perfectly. They are just bad in the front right now. Early in the year, they did well. They've had some injuries, and they've kind of had a little bit of a setback. So I think there are other angles you could take, but I definitely would not be opposed to going with the under in this one. I lean the under over than the over.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, well, I guess it's my turn here. I'm going with an under, a spicy little under. Jimmy G's under passing yards. I've taken a lot of Jimmy G unders this year, and they've been pretty good to me. I had his under 20, I think it was 20 and a half completions last week as a personal play, and he ended up getting 20. That was so scary at the end, 4th and goal, and he obviously missed the target there. And that actually won me my bet. So if he would have actually scored that touchdown, I would have lost my bet. So I was cheering heavy for the Seattle Seahawks in that one.
Good for you, man, because I lost on that play. Let me just add, you may have won on that play. I lost on that play. So I'm at least one of us hit on that one.
But yeah, dude, it's crazy how many unders Jimmy G gets on these. All right, we have a 2-point favorite. I know me and Alpha were talking a little bit before the show. I don't really understand this line at all. I think it should be a lot wider for the San Francisco 49ers there. Their defense is way better than the Bengals. Honestly, I think their offense is actually clicking a little bit better than the Bengals at this point too. We're seeing a 2-point favorite leaning to the side of the Niners here. And when the Niners have won their football games, Jimmy G is 4-2 to this number, going under when they're winning. The only 2 games that this has lost, Deebo Samuel had a 88 in a 79-yard touchdown. So in those games, that's the only reason he went over on those was because Deebo Samuel is just that good after the catch, cooking guys over the top. I don't think he's playing this week. Elijah Mitchell's looking like a doubtful. Both of those guys are doubtful. Both haven't practiced at all. And the Bengals defense sucks. Going into Pro Football Focus, the Bengals are the worst. They have the worst chance against stopping the run this week. San Francisco has a 99% matchup advantage offensive line to that defensive line. And the one thing I did look into was when Elijah Mitchell was out last time, I believe it was against Jacksonville, was the game he was out. Jeff Wilson came in. Although he sucked, I think he only had like 39 rushing yards. He still carried the ball 19 times. He was like 2.1 yards a carry, and they still kept giving him the ball. This Niners team is based off running this ball. I really don't see him going over 250. Really, the only way I see this going over is if Kittle makes some crazy long catch like he did last week. But I don't see this being like a huge, like 15-yard per catch type of game here. I think it's going to be a slow, methodical, and like I said, every time I take a Jimmy G under on the show, if Shanahan has his ideal game, Jimmy G throws the ball 20 times, 150, 2 rushing touchdowns for the running back, and they cruise with a defensive showing. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I know I'm rolling with an under here. What are you guys thinking for this one?
I love it. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Deebo goes this week. He's on one leg right now. I don't even think you need to have him go. Might as well get him fully healthy right in time for the playoff run. But I think it's definitely going under. The 49ers are the play as well, in my opinion, in this one. But Brandon Ayuk really let me down last week. I had high expectations of him getting 100 yards in that offense. They featured him, and he just couldn't get it done. So without Deebo, I don't think you're going to get to 250 relying on Ayuk and as well as Kittle. I just don't think there's enough there.
Yeah, and like you said, too, we've talked about this almost every week. We want to be on the side of the coach, right? We want to do what we think the coach wants to do. And like you said before, I mean, Jeff Wilson Jr. was absolutely terrible in that game, and he had almost 20 carries. Hasty is healthy now, so that gives them another back that they can rotate between. Like you said, in their ideal game plan, Jimmy G goes under. This is a huge game for them, right? This is maybe the biggest game of their season. I think we're really going to see them just run the ball down Cincinnati's throats, and Jimmy G can cruise with a nice, 17 for 22 with like 218 passing yards, and we'll move on to next week.
Hell yeah. I'm glad that you guys are both kind of seeing what I'm seeing on that one. Talking about an agreement, here we're going to be bringing up Alpha's second play.
Here we go, guys. I love Kamara's over rushing and receiving. So last week on one of my shows, I kind of went over that Alvin Kamara, to me, is the most important running back in the league to his team. He is equivalent to your top quarterback going out in the role that he plays for the Saints offense. He makes the rushing attack go and the receiving attack. I think this week they're going to try a lot of screens, try to get some completions in their pocket and get him going. If we get 45 receiving yards here, we're going to definitely get over there with the rushing as well. And I think he's going to eclipse this number very, very early. So similar to the reasons Monotone said for the rushing, I think the receiving is just as big of an opportunity here. So I'm going to be combining the rushing and receiving, taking it the over 106. Like I said, he's the focal point of that passing attack and the rushing attack. So I think we're going to get there relatively early in the game as well.
Yeah, I mean, last week we saw Saints running backs combined for a 22% target share from Taysom Hill. There is a popular narrative that Taysom Hill doesn't check down to running backs, and that is true when you compare him to someone like Drew Brees, who's kind of almost made a career off of checking down to running backs.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill, he still will do it, and he has to do it. When we're looking at the options they have on the table right here, it's not great. Marquez Callaway, Harris was their best receiver last week. He just got suspended for a DUI. So it's really going to be this offense flowing through Alvin Kamara. Sadly enough, I think this game will stay close too, which is good for this prop. I think the
Absolutely.
Jets and the Saints, both of them really don't have any juice right now. So I think this is going to be a relatively low-scoring game, but Kamara should have all the opportunity in the world. You already know I like this one. I figured I'd add a little bit more in.
Love it. Love it. Let's both cash it. Rushing, receiving, and straight rushing. We're going to get all these this week.
Beautiful, beautiful. Another thing, Mike mentions that the Jets give up 1.5 rushing yards or rushing touchdowns per game. And then Ben asked, what do you think? Is there a sprinkle there on the Kamara over 2 touchdowns here?
I absolutely love sprinkling on Kamara 2+ touchdowns. I think there's always value when the guy has such an elite impact on the game on the rushing and receiving side, like I've kind of been harping on. I think there's definitely value on the 2+ touchdowns. What are the odds you're currently getting on that? Let me take a look and see what I have. 1 second here. Monotone, what do you think?
Yeah, I was going to say, while you're looking, the odds are the biggest thing for me because before the game, I saw that plus 235, which really isn't quite enough for me, you know.
Plus 450. Plus 450. I'll take a little. I'll take a little nibble out of a plus 450. Yeah. I'll definitely be trying to get a meal out of that. So good find by Ben on that one. I like that for sure.
Yep, I think we're all in agreement on that.
Yeah, if you're getting a meal out of a plus 450 ticket, you must be eating some pretty nice steak there down there.
Hey, you know, I'm in New York, my friend. Prices are a little expensive.
Oh yeah, it's a little pricier than Wisconsin, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Last comment from William. Yes, I appreciate that. Hopefully, Jimmy G can stay under for us. 450 is nice for sure. All right, second play, Monotone. You're up.
Yeah, so this one's pretty simple, actually. I think I'll just read off Travis Kelce's last 8 games versus the Raiders, and I think it would convince you. I'm not going to go through the whole stat sheet, obviously, but just looking at the targets real quick. For over the last 8 games for the Raiders, we know they play them twice a year. 10 targets, 12 targets, 9 targets, 9 targets, 9 targets, 13 targets, and 13 targets. I mean, you just heard what I said, but just to go a little more in depth, right? He's hit this in all but 2 of those games. So he's hit this in 6 of his last 8 games versus the Chiefs. Kelce's not having a great year, just to be honest. I think we all know it. The guy that a lot of people drafted in fantasy football in the first round has kind of been a bit of a disappointment. It looks like he's been a little bit banged up over these last couple of weeks. But what we've noticed, too, is the Chiefs' defense has really been what has kind of won them the last couple of weeks, right? They've held their opponents to really low scores. We haven't seen too much offense in those games. And Kelce's kind of had some time to get healthy. I think he really hasn't been asked to do too much. He's not in the trenches as much. I think he's finally been given some time, and this is really his explosion game. We're buying super low right here. I mean, what would this be if they played last year this time of year? 7.5, maybe even 8.5 at times.
Yep.
I think we're getting an amazing price for the best tight end of my generation, right? I mean, the guy's amazing out there. He's shown everything he can do. For him to just grab 6 catches just feels way too easy for me right here. The Raiders are going to bring offense. We know that. The Raiders can score points on almost anybody in the league. The Chiefs are going to have to score too. Every time these two play, sparks fly. I think Kelce's going to be a huge beneficiary of that this week.
I have to agree with you. And just to put this out here, guys, this is how much I agree with you. I wanted to use a Kelce prop on this show, and I was informed that Monotone put it in before me. So that's how much I'm in agreement with you. I'm all over Kelce this week. I love the 5.5. You're buying on him low. He's way overdue, and he's getting healthy again. So I couldn't agree with you more. I think there's a ton of value in him getting just 6 catches from Travis Kelce in a big game like this. Give me it. I love that play.
For sure. Thank you for popping in here, calling our shot. Appreciate you popping in on Wednesday as well for our show there. But yeah, Cal, I mean, it's hard to ever go. I don't think I've ever seen a prop at 5.5 for Kelce. I mean, I don't even remember the last time I've seen that. I mean, and whenever I'm taking reception prop, right, I'm always looking at the quarterback. If the quarterback's good enough, I'll ride with the reception prop because the talent obviously is there with Kelce. And that's why I'm going where I'm going on my next prop too is, I mean, it's talent, and you have arguably one of the best quarterbacks right now throwing him the ball too. I mean, it's tough to pass up on Kelce at 5.5 for sure.
No doubt. No doubt. Like you said, best tight end of your generation. I'm a little bit older than you, so I may have a different opinion on my generation's best tight end, but I think he's definitely a buy low and a great move.
I'm sure you're talking about Antonio Gates, right?
I'm not that old, bro. Come on. More like a Rob Gronkowski, kind of age group.
You sure you're not thinking of Tony Gonzalez, maybe?
Still a little too old for me. I mean, maybe Evan Ingram as a Giants fan. But
There we go. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, beautiful. Thought you just dropped like a Jeremy Shockey reference or something like that in there. Or something.
Oh, God, I love Shockey so much. I love him so much. What a player he was for us. But, I mean, my family, big Mark Bavaro guys, and I'm telling you right now, there's nobody watching this video that maybe besides you, PPS, knows who Mark Bavaro is. So that's how old the tight end tree goes in my life. So
beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to finish us off with a plus money play here. I'm going with Stefan Diggs. You guys heard what Mr. Alpha said about this game. I definitely want a piece of this game. DFS, you're going to want a piece of this game. And I'm rolling with Diggs over 6.5 receptions. I think this is just it was 6.5 most games, and usually it's juiced at 6.5. I think we're getting a market correction after the shit show that was Monday Night Football of throwing the ball into this, whatever it was, 50-mile-an-hour winds. Just really hard to watch that game. But I'm going to be rolling with this one, over 6.5 plus 110. Diggs is rolling with a 25% target share this year. And I was looking at Allen's lines for today. That was one of my other guys I was looking into. And his pass attempt line is at 40.5, juice to the over. And his completions are at 25.5, juice to the over. We're expecting him to sling it. I mean, I don't expect this Bills team to try to run the ball now. They've really not been able to ice games. That's why they've lost, right? They can't finish the games because they can't run the ball unless it's Josh Allen. That's really what their entire offense is here. And when Allen has thrown the ball 40 times this season, Diggs has had 9 catches twice and 6 catches twice. One of those being that Jacksonville game where he had 6 catches but was double teamed on almost every single route. Looking at Pro Football Focus here, Stefan Diggs is top 10 in matchup advantage this week. We're sitting at 72% matchup advantage, which is pretty high for a receiver. Obviously, Devontae Adams number 1. Obviously, he's a Packer. He's got to be number 1 on that list, right? But when Allen is forced to throw, is going to Diggs, right? I mean, even last week, it was over 25% target share there. And they're a 3.5-point dog this week. If they're behind, I'm going to love watching this ball get slung around by Josh Allen, looking like he was at Wyoming, just throwing that ball everywhere around the field. And Diggs does get those behind the line of scrimmage catches too, so I'll just add right on into it. Nice, easy catches. We've seen Beasley become less and less part of this offense, and he is kind of taking over that role and running the deep routes as we saw that 40-yard. He should have had a 40-yard touchdown if it wasn't that windy last week. So I just really like Stefan Diggs this week, and he will probably be sprinkled in quite a few of my DFS lineups as well.
I love that. And kind of what I said earlier, this game this week between the Bills and the Bucs has the highest total of the week, sitting at 54. I like taking overs in games that they're expecting a lot of points. They're expecting a lot of offense, so that fits right into my mold. So definitely like this play a lot. And you're getting plus money, so it's good value on a guy that does this consistently. So really like that play.
Yeah, I think we're both kind of benefiting right back to back from two guys that are kind of in the middle of down seasons, you could say, statistically speaking. But when we watch them on the field every week, we know it's the same elite talent that's always been there, right? I mean, Diggs, I believe he led the league in receptions last year. Allen's probably going to be trailing in this game, and you can't run the ball in Tampa. We all know that. Diggs should be in store for 10 plus targets. I think it's very fair to say he converts on 7 of those. To get this at plus money, I mean, I'm in. I think we all love that.
For sure.
Beautiful. Before we get to DFS, let's pop into the chat. Let's see what you guys are up to. A lot of people talking about Alpha's.
Let's go. Little Mark Bavaro action. I can throw the jersey on, brother. I got it in the closet, so give me a few minutes.
Sean.
Yeah. Sean, come on, man. That means you're around my age, brother, in my 30s. Let's go.
We got another Bavaro guy in here.
Let's go. Loving this.
Alpha, where did you see Kamara for plus 450?
On my local, I have it for plus 450, and it's plus 400 on FanDuel.
Okay. Beautiful. Yes, I'm going to have Diggs as a 1-unit play this week. Yeah. Hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Sean. Sean runs, I believe he's on Bet US on their soccer show. I always like popping in over there and listening into what they have to say. Do I like Diggs over 80.5? I think that's pretty low, honestly. I would probably take it. I would lean more on the reception side just because I've seen him get a lot more of those short route type of action. And I would rather have him on the receptions than probably the yards, but definitely can get there on the yards for sure.
Yeah, I mean, additionally, right, if you think he's going to get 80 yards, he probably gets there on 7 receptions, right? And you get the plus money with the 7 receptions. So there's a little bit of an edge right there.
For sure. I feel the exact same way with the plus money.
Jack's dropping this in the chat. Happy to see you in here. Have you guys been having trouble getting prop line? Seems like more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, there's so many games. Like beginning of the season, me and Monotone, we would send our stuff out. Like we could do it like Friday morning. Like I still haven't even gotten quite a few of the props that I want yet, and it's kind of frustrating. But Vegas probably getting some money taken from them, I guess.
100%. The reason why FanDuel has like nothing up right now, it's about like 30 to 50% of the games they actually have one team props, not both teams. They got one team. DraftKings, if you're in a legal state, DraftKings, I'm seeing most of the games up with most of the props. So definitely check out DraftKings if you can.
But additionally, DraftKings is really slick with it too. They withhold receptions, they withhold carries, all that stuff. I mean, you're new around here, but we played Hunter Renfrow receptions about 5-6 weeks in a row, something crazy like that. It's never even available when the show starts. So
they're smart. They must know what time the show is, so they're putting this on later. They don't want to get taken anymore for those Renfrow receptions.
Anybody have I think they're playing Baltimore this week, right? Kareem Hunt. 31
Chubb's back. Don't love it. Let me see what I have on it.
Baltimore is also, I believe, the 3rd best rush defense DVOA in the NFL. And last time they played, I mean, Chubb barely even got any run himself. I don't think Hunt got there. It's a tough number. I have 32.5 on DraftKings, but I'm not a huge fan of it. And 32.5 on FanDuel as well. So it looks like they're both at 32.5 for the big legal books in Jersey. Yeah. I mean, it's close. I don't know how I feel. Hunt's just not safe, right? If you see something that you think we don't see, then I'd say go for it, but I'm just not seeing anything that makes this stick out. The guy's got to be incredibly efficient to get there. He's got to get there on 5-6 carries. That means you're probably betting on a 10-15 yard run against the Ravens. That's kind of tough. So it's just my
I would like this more if it was a game that we thought that they were going to win in a blowout, so that maybe Chubb gets pulled a little early, and then at the end of the game, you have some opportunities to pick it up in another way. But because I think this is going to be such a barn burner and such a close game, it's not my favorite play of the weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I always look into Pro Football Focus, like the matchup advantage offensive line. It has like 55% advantage there, but they also had 55% advantage when they played the Ravens earlier in the year, and the Ravens looked fantastic. Ravens are top 5 in yards before contact, so they only allow 1 yard before they're making contact with the running back. That's insane. That's what, like I said, top 5 in the league. So Yeah, good stuff there. I don't have a bet on Chubb, and if I don't have a bet on Chubb, I really don't like that game.
Yeah.
Then I'm not. If you're not on Chubb, then there's no chance I'm taking Chubb.
Bet365 as props. Okay, beautiful.
You can get your Bavaro props there.
Beautiful. If you guys have any more questions or want us to answer any prop stuff, send those in. We're going to get through our DFS and our DGen parlay 3-leg this week, and we'll get to your questions at the end of the show. Let's get this up right here. We'll roll with the DFS value portion first. We'll start with you, Monotone, here.
Yeah, so I'm going with Foster Moreau. And this one, you're going to see from my DFS strategy today, a lot of it comes down to fading the public and going contrarian. So whoever the Washington football team tight end is this week, they're going to be mega chalk, whether it's Bates or Ricky Seals-Jones comes back. When you're going to look at the cheap tight end section of things, that's really where people are going to swarm to because they do have a guaranteed role. Foster Moreau, he let everyone down last week. Everybody played him. He kind of laid not a goose egg, but he didn't do anything.
Pretty close.
Yeah, he was really disappointed. I had him in fantasy. I know. I feel you picked him up, but I'm still going back to him. That's just kind of how DFS works, right? He lets everyone down 1 week and everyone just gives up. But we're in the same exact situation a week later. He's still going to be out there for 100% of the snaps or very close to it. He's still going to be the primary route runner at the tight end position. He gets a Chiefs matchup, which we're expecting a very high scoring game in. I think there's no reason not to go right back unless you're really banking your lineups around some of the more expensive tight ends like Kelce or Gronkowski. If you want to get away from that ownership and go down, nobody's going to play this guy this week after he let everyone down. I'll do it. I play bad tight ends every week. I'll go right back to the well. It might even be a better spot than last week. Let's run it back, see what happens.
Yeah, that's like the exact same reason why I'm taking Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson was chalk 3 weeks ago and just shit the bed. I think he only had like 4 points. Like I said, 19 carries, 39 yards. But Elijah Mitchell hasn't even cleared concussion protocol yet. Still has a knee issue. If he got 20 carries getting, 2.1 yards per carry. Now you're going to give me this Bengals line that's absolute dog shit. And like I said, 99% matchup advantage for the offensive line of the Niners against this defensive line. Sign me up. He's pretty dang cheap, obviously, with Elijah Mitchell getting 2 straight weeks of monster usage. And, Hasty's back, but I don't think I'm going to see him getting 20 touches. It's going to be Wilson early down. Hopefully falls in the end zone to get your value at this price point. And then Hasty maybe gets the dump downs and stuff like that on third down.
Yeah, Hasty will be there. He will take away from Jeff Wilson. There's no argument around that. But what we really want to look at is, especially for DFS, is those important touches, right? And red zone touches are really the most important you can get. Jeff Wilson Jr. has been scoring touchdowns since like 2018 when nobody has heard of the guy, right? He's been in the Shanahan offense for so long, and we all know that his one singular role has always been, once we get to the 1 yard line, bring in Jeff Wilson Jr., he'll get us in the end zone. So I could realistically see a 10 carry for 30 yards and 2 touchdown game, which pays off value even with a lack of performance, just like last time.
I'm leaning on you guys on this one. You guys are the DFS experts, so this is the part of the show, guys. I am a viewer with you guys and taking notes. These two are some of the best in the game, so I appreciate just listening to your back and forth on it.
And just so you know, Alpha, too, right? If you go to any other DFS show, they're not talking about these guys, right? We're bringing up the losers, the ones everyone's giving up on, right? They'll tell you play Kelce, play Diggs. We'll tell you that too. We know it, but I think we all kind of know that's important. We need to. We're here to tell you guys the losers to play this week.
The ones with the less. We want you guys to take down tournaments. We don't. We don't play those 50-50s here. No. We're going for the high rollers and I have like 3 lineups made in the Millie Maker, so I have like 0% chance of winning it. But you got to just try it, right? You can't.
Worth a shot. Without it. You're not going to win the whole thing with your lineup based on all superstars. You need to have Jeff Wilson's in there. You need to have Foster Moreau's in there. And you need to hit him at the right week. So I like how you guys are doing it. I'm going to be playing a little bit this week. So I'll follow up next week and let you know how your advice has helped me on my own game this week.
Yeah. I have one more loser, too. If anyone really wants to do this, he might actually score 0 points for you. It's Curtis Samuel against the Cowboys. You talked about rain conditions. Curtis Samuel hasn't scored 10 plus DraftKings points at all this year. So it's not great.
That's a great way to start it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're really making me want to buy him.
Yeah. I just wanted to let everyone know that I'll be playing Curtis Samuel. I mean, especially if it gets real rainy. We saw them try a couple end arounds. He has 2 rushing attempts in 2 of the 3 games since he's been back. He had 4 catches for 49 yards earlier this year. It's not like a great play, but I really could see Samuel getting a trick play and taking it to the house, especially if it's super rainy, super bad conditions like we think. I think they're really going to open up the playbook to a place we haven't seen all year, and Curtis Samuel's the reason they can do that, really. He's the guy that they brought in the offseason. I'm not necessarily recommending this one. I just figured I'd share with you guys the absolute worst player I'm going to be playing this week, Curtis Samuel. So right here.
I wish you the best of luck, my friend. The best of luck with that Curtis Samuel play.
Well, on that note, let's go to actual, good players.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to start? I guess I'll take it away. You want me to start?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, we've talked about Alvin Kamara a lot this show. I don't think there's much more we really need to say. I mean, we all agreed we like him to score 2 touchdowns this week. But just to give some more game theory, Taysom Hill is going to be one of the most popular plays on the slate. And as you guys know, kind of DFS 101, you want to get as much correlation as possible. Not many players really correlate with Taysom Hill in this offense. When you're playing Taysom Hill, which a lot of people are, you're playing him for his rushing upside, essentially. And he does not really mesh with Kamara that well. So Kamara, in all the projections I'm seeing, should have sub 15% ownership this week. For a guy that's playing the Jets, we all think he could score 2 touchdowns very easily. We're already all on his overs. I mean, we're getting a smash spot. And additionally, since Taysom Hill is one of the most popular plays of the week, now we're getting leverage off of that Taysom Hill play. So especially Taysom Hill has a down week, Kamara ends up getting those red zone touches. It's huge for us, not only for scoring those points, but for getting an edge on the rest of the field as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'll give you all my background there on Adams in a moment. We're going to go straight into the parlay here because I know Alpha's got his show in a little bit. Make sure you go follow him. I have both these guys' Twitter bios in the description of the show. So make sure you guys pop over there and show some love to those guys, Monotone and Alpha for sure. So let's go straight into the DGen parlay so we can get this out there and make sure Alpha gets to his show on time. Let's get to it. We'll start out with your leg, which I think is the highest. You're giving us the best odds on yours.
Yeah, man. Cordero Patterson's been an absolute monster. When you speak about Alvin Kamara being the focal point of the Saints offense, right now, besides take Kyle Pitts out of the equation, Atlanta's offense is strictly Cordero Patterson. He's been getting in the end zone frequently, and he's been doing it in style, getting long runs, short runs in the passing game. And I think he's going to get in again. I'm pretty high on the Falcons this week. I think they're going to have a pretty good game. So give me Cordero Patterson to get in at least once, and let that be the piece that carries this parlay. Let's go, guys.
I mean, I love that. Patterson might be he might, I don't want to say the only talented skill position player on this team.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, Pitts is there. He's getting triple covered, which is great for this prop, right? Because the whole defense acknowledges that. Additionally, Carolina's run defense has really taken a step down these last couple weeks, while their pass defense has been trending upwards. That's good news for Patterson, though, because Patterson's rushing attempts has really been trending upwards these last couple weeks. We all know he's one of the most explosive players on really any field, no matter who he plays any week. So I love this Patterson leg, and I'm glad you're giving us a little relief from our super chalky legs. You know, we kind of gave you the basic ones, Kelce, Adams. Yeah, okay. So you gave us a little life to this parlay right here. Really give it that DGen name that we are striving for here.
Yeah, for sure. I can't come in here and give you guys, I don't know who would be the most chalky. Let me give you guys Jonathan. I know he's on bye, but let me give you Jonathan Taylor to add to the parlay. Can't be giving you something like that. It has to be something a little sexy, a little tasty. Give me the minus 105 at Patterson.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I will let you head out, Mr. Alpha. I know you got your show. I'll probably be tuning in over there. So make sure you guys go show his account some love over there on Twitter. I'll tune into your show in a little bit. But I know you're a busy man. So I'm happy you were able to jump in. And thank you for popping in and being a guest with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. I watch every single week. Big fan of both years' content. So let me know when I'm welcome back. I guess it depends how Patterson does this weekend, but really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thanks again.
Appreciate it, Alpha. We'll talk soon.
Good luck, guys.
Awesome. So now it's my turn. I will go back to, we had my my main DFS and my DGen parlay leg, which is Davante Adams. Been seeing he has some hamstring issue. Come on, he's been dinged up all season. He's played every single time. It's not like he needs to have reps with Aaron Rodgers to be good. I love Davante Adams this week. Like, love him. Looking at the Pro Football Focus, he's ranked number 1 in matchup advantage, 96.5% matchup advantage over there. I don't see a way they stop him. Bears have actually not been awful against the run. So I'm not going to go there. I think the Packers only have like a 15% run block advantage there. And we're really not really using Jones in the passing game much anymore with that injury he's had. He's taken a huge step back. So Adams is going to be the play here. Adams is going to be probably matched in every single one of my lineups. And now you're going to get Davante Adams at home after Aaron Rodgers just told him he owned Soldier Field. This man's about to drop like 450 yards on the Bears at home in the snow. It don't matter. They play in the snow every single time, and this is going to be an absolute showing by Aaron Rodgers this week. I don't have an Aaron Rodgers line, or else I would play it. But and I also don't have Adams line because Cobb is out, so they haven't adjusted for that yet. And that makes me even like this one even more. So I like it a lot. There we go. We got it back. But yeah, dude, I just think Adams is just absolutely going to roll these guys. Career-wise, 8 touchdowns in 15 games. I mean, it's going to be – and I think he had a multi-touchdown game a couple like last year. So I think he takes this game over for sure.
Yep. I mean, like you said, there's really nobody on that Bears defense that could stick with him, right? I mean, there's not many people in the league that can stick with him, but we know his red zone presence. We know the kind of guy he is. I think we've got a nice touchdown parlay here, and I think we've got some nice DFS spots this week too.
Yeah, looking at Sunday in Green Bay, 23 and sunny, baby. That's what we're gonna have. 23 degrees, sunny. I just, dude, this Bears team is. I've watched that Bears team try to run an offense, and it's just absolutely awful. So, just more time for the Packers to have the ball, and more time for Davante Adams to roll here.
Yeah, I picked the Bears against the Cardinals last week. That was not a great play. Not a great play.
Beautiful. Let's pop in here. We'll pop into the chat, see what you guys are up to here. Props up late because of injuries. Yep. They can't hang a number. Yeah, no, for sure. And I get that, but there's a lot of them that are just not up. Like, I get it. I mean, there's guys that are doubtful. I mean, I guess you don't want to be like accountable for that type of money, you know? But man, I mean, like, Darren Waller this week is probably not going to play, right? He hasn't practiced at all. Deebo Samuel's probably not going to play. And there's still like nothing like at all in that game. I didn't have any passing props besides Jimmy G. They don't even have his completions, or I probably would have went under on the completions instead. But yeah, it's just weird. Packers, Bears, Adams will play. I don't have an issue that Adams won't play. Cobb is actually out for the season with that core injury, unfortunately.
Oh, is that the season? Really? I didn't know it was all year. Wow.
Yeah. One for you, Mr. Monotone, for my guy Trevor.
Yeah, it depends on what your expectations are here, Trevor. If you want like 3 for 38 or 4 for 45, he'll give you that. So it depends on if you're talking about for betting or for DFS or what, you know. If it's for betting and we get some favorable lines in the 30s, if his receptions is at 3.5, then I could see myself definitely pulling the trigger on that, just because we know every single week, no matter who's in at tight end, they do have a role on the Washington football team. It just kind of depends on who it is any given week. So it depends on what the lines we get are. I feel like I've got a bad feeling they're going to be very sharp. I think we could see 4.5 for receptions and then in the low 40s for receiving yards, which would make me a little less inclined to take the overs. If we get a nice 3.5 on receptions, then I would definitely be interested in that one for sure.
Yeah, no, I like it. It just like I said, if it depends. Like we're playing GPP lineups, we're playing for tournaments. Ricky Seals-Jones is going to be the chalk, right? He's going to be him or Gronk, right? I would assume in that game will be the chalk tight ends in cash lineups. So just knowing what type of contest you're going in, I'm sure Ricky Seals-Jones will be highly owned for sure. Just tuned in. What were the odds on the Kelce? Yeah, I didn't have it on there. I don't think I got one.
I believe it's 130. Minus 130 is what it was available at pre-show. I can check what's best available for you in a second. It is now it's minus 135 is best on Caesars. So still grab that. It's already moved up to minus 140 on DraftKings. So grab minus 130 on Caesars if you have it.
Perfect. Thanks for the Cobb info. Hopefully Adams will be out. No, yeah. I'm sorry, Sean. I mean, obviously I'm wearing my Packers stuff. I got my Packers stuff back there, but I mean, it's just hard. I don't see them even being able to move the ball. I would put if I'm playing the Bears, why would I not put 8 guys in the box and say, hey, how about we pass it? Because everything is a dump down to Montgomery or a run to Montgomery. I mean, that's why he's getting hurt. They're giving him 30 touches a game. We see what happened to McCaffrey when this happens, right? I mean, it's just bad.
It's a tough time to be a Bears fan. Yeah, this is a good question right here with Hollywood Brown. So he was a mainstay earlier in the year for this bet. But as you can see, the number's gone down a pretty considerable amount, and that's for a reason. Ever since Bateman has come back, it's weird. This Ravens team is really weird, just to be honest with you. Like, when Bateman came back, his route tree changed a lot to the point where he was running a lot more short intermediate routes, which would not have covered this number for us. He had a lot of games where you were seeing 9-10 targets. He only pulled down 40 yards. Now we're starting to see Bateman's role decrease every week. And now he's kind of even returning to the same route tree, a little closer to what he was doing before. I think my biggest problem is I just don't trust the offense in this game. Like Ben just said in the chat, Lamar has been bad lately. He has not been very good. And this is going to be a tough game, right? This is 2 defensive-minded teams. If I was going to go anywhere with Hollywood, just because of the fact that he's tacking up all those receptions, I would probably lean receptions over longest reception for the time being, even though it pains me to say. You guys know I love that longest reception prop, but yeah, he's just not been as consistent recently, so I'm gonna wait on that a little bit longer.
Also, I don't know if this is specifically true, so correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure the Browns run quite a bit of zone coverage, if I remember correctly. And in this type of game, I think Bateman actually has the bigger game than Brown. Bateman kind of does he'll find those little seams in there versus running a zone defense. Your whole goal is to just keep everything in front of you, right? With these long reception prop, I'm pretty sure the Browns are a pretty heavy zone team compared to most. I will have to check that specifically, but I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, when I watched the Browns, I feel like I've seen them in zone much more than most.
Yeah, and they have good safeties too. They trust the safety help a lot, which kind of is tough. I don't know if Bateman necessarily has a good game. Where I would go rather is that nobody has a good game in this game, just because Bateman's been trending down a lot recently, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I don't know. I see why people are looking at it, but it's a tough game for me. I really have a hard time seeing that game, hit the ceiling that we might need it to.
Yeah, if it stays sunny out, Aaron Rodgers probably dropping 450. 4 touchdowns, a couple discount double checks, and maybe a couple Lambo leaps in there too.
What did he have last time in terms of passing yards against the Bears? I assume he got over that number.
I believe it was a 24-14. I think we ran the ball like 25 times.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, Adams had 4 for 89 last game. Rodgers had 23 pass attempts. We had 31 rushes, 5 yards a pop. So. Yeah, that last game really – that was the game where he ran across the line on the rushing touchdown. Yeah, told him I own you.
Yeah, that was a great clip. He's a funny guy.
So no Chubb or Hollywood. What year is it? Yeah, dude. I don't really know, man. It's just Baltimore scares me. Those rivalry games scare me.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I'm going to bet on Nick Chubb, it's got to be damn near a lock. because I'm rolling with a 5-0 record on Nick Chubb bets. I've avoided every single bad game he's had.
Yeah.
So I can't risk that. I got to keep that record roll.
Oh, wait, are MVS lines out, by the way? I skipped this question. I saw Ben just posted something about MVS because that's one of my guys this week. If MVS lines are out, I might have to hammer them.
No, I think he's just saying that because I'm heavy on Rodgers.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I think that's what he's saying. I didn't see any out.
Yeah,
on DraftKings for sure, there's not anything there.
Yeah, I guess a little sneak peek for the people that are still there. MVS longest reception. I mean, the guy's seeing the most targets of his life over the last couple of weeks. Rodgers and him look like they have a much better connection. And yeah, the Bears, I believe, are one of the worst cornerback cores against opposing deep threats. They're really bad. They get burned deep a lot. So, okay, false alarm, but still look out for MVS when those lines come out.
Yeah, well, I'll be waiting. I'll be making sure I tune in to your page. Again, if you guys are getting anything here, make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you go into the description as well. Link for Mr. Monotone's Twitter is in there, so make sure you go check that out. If you want some of those other ones that he's going to drop there, obviously we do this every week. But if you guys want more stuff, more content, we drop multiple stuff on YouTube. We drop our Wednesday past the props. There's everything out there, but we also drop quite a few free plays, specifically to Twitter as well. Yeah, so make sure you go and take a look at that for sure to support my guy over there.
Yeah, sorry, I cut off the question before. Will Javonte Williams get 2 times more touches than Melvin Gordon versus the Lions? I don't think any of us really know the answer to that, right? Are we even sure Melvin Gordon's going to suit up this week? I don't think we know for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, so if he does suit up and he is healthy, everything goes well, then I would say the answer to that question is no. No matter how good Javonte looks on paper, all the advanced metrics, the fantasy community loves him, obviously, but it doesn't matter when the coaches still want to split backfield carries. So if Gordon's healthy, then I would pump the brakes a little bit on Williams this week.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing that's nice is they will run the ball like a million times. So, I mean, you're 2 times the carries could be 14 carries to 7. And against this Lions front, like if that's what you're thinking, I still think they're both going to be fine. But
yeah,
man,
I think that just 2 times number is tough. I think
it is. Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to happen. But,
yeah,
I mean,
I think an ideal game if Gordon plays is 17 carries for Javonte and like 11 for Gordon, which still doesn't get you there. Like Gordon, if he's healthy, they're going to keep putting him out there like they have all year.
Yeah, they paid him too much to not use him.
Yep.
All right, let's see. Here's another one. This is a monotone question here.
Yeah, I mean, it's another one I've been waiting for the rush attempts for. I want to see the carries first because I like the carry prop more than the rush yards prop just in general. Sometimes players have inefficient games, but I account for volume above all else. So if I don't see a good carries number, then I could end up back on this. I like Gibson a lot. I have to do a little bit more research into the Cowboys' rush defense, but yeah, I've been a big fan of what Gibson's doing recently, so I could definitely see myself getting around to this one, especially if the carries number is too high for my liking. It's definitely on the radar.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. Gibson, I had Gibson rushing, receiving over 94, I think, last week. That crushed. He had like 88 rushing yards. Did a lot better out of the backfield than I thought with the McKissick injury, obviously. Yeah, he was pretty capable out of the backfield. I'd like to see that. All right, I believe this is the last question here, or last statement, I guess. Man, why they have the Bears versus Packers as night game? Just wants to embarrass. Hey, it's a Packer party, man. They always want to have a couple of games at Lambeau. This is the one game I'm not going to go to. I'm going to go to the Viking game instead. I'll be on January 2nd. Mind you, I will tell this to everybody again. I said it on Twitter. I am 2-0 this year when I'm at Lambeau. I'm going to the game on January 2nd. Do what you will with that information. They were dogs in the last game I was at.
Yeah.
They beat that ass. They kicked the shit out of them. So just letting you know, that's you can't see that in your stats metric, but I'll be there.
Yeah, we got to bring that one up right before we jump in.
Just saw Boone, Denver's third running back, is in COVID. Ooh. So that could mean that somebody's out too, because I know that's why Mike Williams is out right now, because Keenan had it. Because they said Williams was unvaccinated but tested negative. So that means he has to do it 3 straight days, I believe. So by Saturday, we'll know if Mike Williams is back. If Keenan Allen is out and Williams is playing, I mean, that's got to be someone that you're looking to hammer for sure.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Doesn't look like we got anything else. If you guys have anything quick, you better jump in there fast. We're going to be going through our recap. Obviously, we have the bottom ticker rolling with all of our plays, looking to improve on our 37-21 record for the season. We'll start out with alphas. I'll run through alphas. He had Chris Godwin over 73.5 receiving yards, and Alvin Kamara over 106 rushing receiving yards. Over there, a minus 110 odds. We'll go over to Mr. Monotones. Here we go.
Yep, we got Alvin Kamara over 66.5 rushing yards. Remember, I also said I'm waiting for that carries. That might be what I go with as the bigger play on Twitter. I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't made up my mind, but it depends on what that carries number is. But yeah, love Kamara. Then next up, we're buying low. We're grabbing Travis Kelce at over 5.5 receptions. We got it at minus 130. I played up to minus 140 at those odds.
Beautiful. I'll be rolling with my favorite guy to bet the under, Jimmy G, under 251.5 passing yards, and Stefan Diggs over 6.5 receptions at plus 110. On the DFS side, I'll be rolling with Jeff Wilson Jr. as my value, and I'll be rolling with Devontae Adams as my top guy. Monotone will have Foster Moreau and Alvin Kamara there, and rolling with our chalky plus alpha parlay here. Yeah. Kelce, Adams, and Patterson will get you around plus 520 odds. Make sure you go lock that in. You got anything else for the people here, Monotone? You got anything for them?
Nothing much. I'm just excited to get back to winning, this week. I'm excited. I had a rough Wednesday. Our guest calling our shot went 2-0. I think you went 1-1, I believe. So you guys picked me up when I was down that week, but I'm excited to get back to winning, Putting out that red hurts me, so I'm excited to get some green back out.
Yeah, no, I have a feeling this will be a pretty decent week. Again, it just sucks that our props aren't coming out till later. But I mean, there's a lot of good games. Like I said, that Bills game is going to be the big one. One thing I will say is don't fall into the trap. If you're going to run a 3 lineup, don't throw every single option in for that game. We've seen it before with that Chiefs-Cowboys game where it was the chalk game. Everything was 40%, and it turned into just a mess. Top lineup didn't even have anybody from that game. So if you have a 3 lineup, guys, for DFS, make sure you're still sprinkling in some contrarian picks, because you're really going to need that in a weekend like this, especially when you think probably Tom Brady, Josh Allen are going to be like probably 50% of the quarterback field for sure this week.
Yep.
Well, that will be it. Under an hour with another guest in here too. So that's pretty good. We got through it pretty quick. Looking to improve on our record. Again, if you guys like the show, make sure you drop a like for us. Make sure you go grab Monotone's link in the description. Go throw them a follow on Twitter. I think you're 15, 16K now? What is that?
Yeah, just got to 16 the other day. So
damn. Congrats, dude. That's crazy.
10 too, right? The big
10.
Just
got to 10 2 days ago or yesterday. So it's crazy, man. I mean, been doing it for a minute, so it's kind of cool to get where we're at. And it doesn't just come overnight. It's a grind. You got to get to it, and but it's fun. I enjoy it, and I hope to continue to keep doing these shows with you and keep cashing and making some money.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. We will see you. I don't know how many hours it is till Wednesday, but usually it's a lot easier on Wednesday for me to say, hey, 48 hours. This one maybe like 72 or something like that. I don't want to go any higher than that.
I would just throw a number. No one's going to check you on that. We'll see you guys in 96 hours.
Awesome, guys. See you Wednesday for Pass the Prop NBA edition, and hopefully we'll be able to come back and show you guys some green on this show. Thank you guys so much. Talk to you.